Viewers, a bit of an update. Yeah, I might get that igniter popped, I reckon. How is it? Haven't been in there much lately. Been too busy. Still yet to follow this goes though. It's definitely around this part of the circuitry somewhere, so. Still doing some research and troubleshooting on this one. This is my very first actual TV restoration. I'm still learning the basics and the ins and outs. So I now understand the schematic a bit better. This is my area here I'm troubleshooting. But the W101, W101C, this is a W101A. Apparently there's a few minor differences in the circuitry between a W101A and a W101 and 101C. So the resistance values are a bit different in that one. As to why they're getting hot, I'm not sure. So I think they reckon the W101C is the same circuit as this, but I think a couple of the resistors or something are slightly different somewhere. Yeah, good learning experience. Let's cut that. Got to get around to replacing those too. I might have arrived the other day. I'll just double check. I think I got those in the mail the other day. Yeah, my replacements. Didn't realise I already had them. How did I not replace those before? There's 1, 2, 3 of those. For things like this, I want to get a good soldering station, something with a good thermal flow and thermal concentrations, because this, it's good, but it doesn't get hot enough. These types of soldering lines are crap anyway for this sort of thing. That's my next investment, get a good soldering station. With a really good tip in it, so I can just concentrate the heat, especially doing ground connections. This just takes forever, and it bumps in the neighbouring wires on the side of the bloody body of the iron and melts everything else around it. So that's my next thing, is get a good soldering station for this sort of work. They're just hopeless for this sort of thing. I was going to pop this today in a cap bank out there, but there's we've got people picking our grapes around here, so they're going to get scared of the bang. Yeah, I better do this when there's no one around. So that might be a bit risky. They might jump out of their pants while I did that today. As I said, there's a pretty loud bang. Get on with my meters, hey. This is a EMAL type SDM, the CT type. It's a 2.5 to 15 current transformer, 200/5 amp, 240 volt, 50 hertz, 4 wire, 3 phase, 6.6 fares per kilowatt hour, 1/10 the speed of this one at 66.6. It's got, let's see, 43,200 kilowatt hours on there. It's lucky I marked the numbers on these wires, so I don't forget how to wire these up. Yeah, a bit melted. Might have to replace those wires too eventually. Got to get some new wiring. Anyway, let's give this ultimate. This will be my first actual test of this ultimate phantom loading transformer. Definitely very accurate, and I'm going to put a ballast on that. So yeah, I don't want to burn the current transformer meter. I'm going to limit the current on that thing as much as I can to prevent burning this out. So that via maybe a big ballast, or rather a smaller ballast, I don't know. We'll find something nice and small, nothing that's going to be harsh. We'll measure the current with the clamp meter, and don't go over the 5 amp. That'll be it. So as long as you stick to that when you're phantom loading it, 5 amps, 5 amp maximum going through that, which will equal full 200 amps going through the current transformers. Just got to fix this up so I can get the terminal cover off. It's been something's been dropped on it. Anyway, let's wire it up and give it a test. It's recalibrated in 1978. Same as my BAZ. Recalibrated the same year. Okay, viewers, I've got it all set up. Got the red neck one to make the connections, because this big ass wire I've got to replace, the other green one that burnt away, have to use this to join it. Then it goes in there to this small gauge 30 amp rated copper wire. That's extra protection against overcurrent going through here. Instead of this big cable going straight in, join between this and there's a little thin one of these bits of copper wire to join that to the load side of this meter. Extra protection just so I don't burn it out. So be very careful, get your clamp meter out and I'll monitor the current going in that. Make sure I don't exceed 5 amps. I can probably put the clamp meter in it actually. That works out perfect. It's a bit of a glaring issue, but I've got to revise how I wired this to get it right. I forgot how I did it for the CT meters, but I did do a quick test. One goes forward, that one there goes backwards. One's phased wrong. Anyway, doesn't matter, it'll still prove the principle. One will advance in one direction, the other one should advance in the other, the exact same amount. Some minutes it's a bit different though, because you've got to divide and everything. Oh, 5 amps inrush to BAZ rang its load wheel. On there. Oops, that's it. Oop, there, we'll turn it down. Yeah, 30 amps, too much. Five amps. Now 6.6 rev should be a little bit on that one. So 1/10 of a kilowatt hour. 1/10 of a kilowatt hour should be 6.6 revs on the disc on this meter here. So it's going. That should go forward. I'll keep an eye on here. On this little decimal point there on that meter. That'll take all day at this rate. Not quite gone around once yet, that wheel. Yeah, I think, of course, if that's 1/10. 1 to 10. Count 10 lines on that one. Will be 1. Oh, yeah. That's probably the way to do it. Yeah, that's correct. So 1 revolution of the disc should mean 1/10 turn of that disc there. That's it, that's as fast as I'm going to drive it. You can't really see because of the glaring issue. Let's see if I can make it a bit better. Lean a bit of board behind the tripod. There we are. That's better. That's it, that's a full load 5 amps. And the Variac is only on 5 volts input. I think that's right, yep. That'd be just about right there. That'd be 1/10 on this one. Bit hard to determine, but I think that's about the same. That'd be accurate. There we are. Quick jerry rig test the fan load in the CT meter. It'll pass its test. Now to clean it up and give it a good dust off. Clean it up quite well. Dust it off. Bit of paint on the outside, I'm not too sure about that. It is too. Initially thought it was on the inside for some reason. There we are. Clean up quite well. Anyway, that's another one checked and cleaned to add to my collection. More to come later. Anyway, thanks for watching. The specs again.